No. Do you love making it so your opponent can't play the game? Well, me too. Today in this video we're going to be covering Snorlax Stall, which is by far one of my favorite decks in the current format. We haven't had a Stall or a Control archetype that's been good for a while, so now with Paradox Rift being legal in the format again, we have a lot of new cards to untap the potential of and see how they work together to destroy other archetypes in the format. Stick with me here through the video and you'll be able to see my personal list that I've created as well as some gameplay here. You're not going to want to miss this, especially if you love annoying your opponent.
Want to support the Shuffle Squad? Be sure to check out all of our sponsors in the description to pick up Pokemon TCG singles, sealed, and PTCG live codes.
Now we're going to break down quite a few things on this list for Snorlax Stall. If we're looking at the Pokemon here in the lineup, we do have 4 of the Block Snorlax. Now Block Snorlax is really helpful and it's the main point of the deck because you don't let your opponent retreat. Generally what you're going to want to do is just bring up something that can never really attack you or doesn't have enough energies in some cases and leave it there. You just annoy your opponent, keep your Snorlax in the active, and they can't do much about it. Now the next annoying card here we have is Mimikyu. Now Mimikyu has a great ability that it can't get attacked by Pokemon V or EXs, which is even better. So just like the old Miltank that we used to play with, now we're swapping in Mimikyu into this list here. And I know that you're saying, hey PJ, there's a lot of Lost Box going around out there. But you know what, we'll just take it as it is. There's a lot more of this list that we'll uncover. We're going to talk about some draw engine or helpful supporting Pokemon here in Rotom and Pidgeot V. Now Rotom does have the ability that lets you draw 3 cards and it ends your turn, which is not really helpful in most decks, but in this deck it's great because we're never really attacking our opponent's Pokemon. Now Pidgeot V is great because not only is it a V Pokemon so we can attach things like Forest Sealstone to it, but it also has Vanishing Wings as an ability where it gets to go back inside your deck to keep you from ever decking out. You pop 1 tool card on this thing and put it right back into the deck, and now there's 2 more cards that stop you from reaching the maximum amount of cards to draw on a single turn. The biggest part about this deck is going to be the supporter, so I apologize in advance if I spend too much time on here, but there are 4 Arvens. Now we've seen Arven be such a great engine for decks in things like Charizard EX, and we've also seen it be kind of an engine in Miraidon for a lot of things too. What we're going to do is utilize Arven in this list to get things like Crushing Hammer, our cross switchers, our Switch Cart, our anything that you need, you name it. If you could see the rest of the list here, you see that there's so many item cards that we won't go through, but Arven is going to be our primary engine. Our secondary engine to help mill our opponent, and what that means is just ripping cards off the top of their deck, is the Misfortune Sisters. Now, this card you get to look at the top deck of your opponent and you get to see the top 5 cards. You get to put any item cards that you find in there into their discard pile. So things like Switch, Escape Rope are all getting out of their deck and going right into the discard pile after you use this card. And they can't even search things out with things like Ultra Ball or Nest Ball because those are gone. What's really good is if you're playing up against anything like, say, Lost Giratina, you're also ripping out things like Mirage Gate from the top of their deck that they can't accelerate energies, and that really puts them in a bad spot here for the rest of the game. Now we do have 2 Boss's Orders, but if we looked at the item list, you'll also see 2 of the brand new Counter Catchers that got a reprint for Paradox Rift. Now Counter Catchers is really good, but sometimes you just need a Boss's Orders to get things up because maybe you're playing something like, I don't know, Mirror with Snorlax Control, where you have to just boss something up and maybe retreat. It doesn't matter here, but Boss's Orders is still a good include. In my list for recovery, I do have 2 Cyllene. Now Cyllene's great if you flip 2 heads, but sometimes you don't always do that, so that's why there's more than 1 copy in this list. Plus we don't really want to prize it, that loses us a win con, so having 2 Cyllene in the list feels really good, especially if we're just churning through and creating a loop between Pal Pad, which puts 2 supporters back into our deck, and Cyllene over and over and over again. Now, one of the greatest additions to a deck like this has been the Erika's Invitation, where you get to not only look at your opponent's hand, but you get to choose a benched Pokemon that's sitting there and put it onto your opponent's bench, then bring it active, and then it can't retreat. So things like Manaphy, or maybe Radiant Greninja in certain cases, or even in Mirror, if you're going to play Mirror and you see that their Pidgeot loop is actually doing some work, being that Pidgeot V has to be on the bench to go back into the deck, you can bring it right up into the active, or you could even bench lock them and keep that loop going on your side but not on theirs. So Erika's is super good in this list. Another recovery card here is we have the Team Yell Cheer, where we're putting up to either 3 Pokemon and or supporter cards from our discard pile back into our deck. This acts as basically a third Pal Pad for the list most of the time. Our Pokemon going back into the deck doesn't always matter, but that's where we have this card. Now, Sidney's great too, because we get to look at any sort of stadium bumps in our opponent's hands, because we are going to play Temple of Sinnoh to get Jet Energy out of the way, because Jet Energy is going to help their attacking or active Pokemon go back onto the bench and bring something up that could hurt us. We don't want to be hurt here. So Sidney's great in this list, and you also get to get rid of special energy from the hand too. You get to pick up to 2 in combination of special energy and stadium cards. My list is a little bit different, and I do play a Thorton here. Now, Thorton I found really good in certain situations, like maybe in a Charizard or a Giratina matchup or something like that, where you're just constantly getting pummeled over and over again with a Pokemon that can attack you. Now, Charizard's really good because if you don't have enough Mimikyu on the field and they only have Pokemon V or Pokemon EX out there that they're attacking you with, maybe their Radiant Zard isn't to the point yet where they've loaded a bazillion energies onto it, you could put Mimikyu up and just swap out your Snorlax, and then they don't have anything else that they can do onto the board. Now, we do have cards like Peonia, where you can look at your prize cards and swap some things you might not need. We've got 1 Iono, so that way we can disrupt our opponent a little bit and just keep that loop going. We do have Avery. Now, I'm going to stop and talk about Avery here because there are so many decks that set up a full board of attacking Pokemon or good Pokemon, and you really don't want them on the field. You want something bad on the field. So if they happen to discard one of their bad Pokemon, then we can play things like Avery in combination with Echoing Horn and just bring that back up to the bench, and then maybe use a Counter Catcher, bring it right up to the active. So all 3 cards really work well in congruency with each other, and you can just weave that into one big play and really just tilt your opponent. Now, Giacomo is great here. We saw that played in the Rapid Strike deck to get rid of some special energies, but it's really good against not only Rapid Strike, but also Lugia and Mew VMAX, all really great decks. Now, speaking of energy, we're going to look at the items just a little bit here, and we do have 4 Crushing Hammers. Now, you're going to say, PJ, 4 hammers? Why 4 hammers? So hammers is so good because we see things like Roaring Moon ramping up their energies. We see things like Charizard EX ramping up energy onto the board really fast, and we want to take those away. We want to take all the resources away from our opponent that they have. So 4 Crushing Hammers is extra good. Plus, you can sometimes get rid of some special energies that your opponent can't recover with things like Ordinary Rod, and just pummel your opponent into non-existence for the rest of the game. They can't do anything, and you lock them right up, and that's pretty much the game. So 4 Crushing Hammers has been great for me, especially in combination with the Cyllene engine to re-put cards back from your discard pile into your deck. We do also have 4 of Nest Ball and 1 of Hisuian Heavy Ball here, and that's just going to help you find your Pokemon. Now, one more new card I did want to talk about is the Luxurious Cape. Now, you're saying Luxurious Cape is not great in most situations. If you put it on the Snorlax, then they're going to take 2 prizes, which doesn't really help you in the prize race here. We don't want them taking all their prizes too quickly, being as we're probably going to have to put down at least 1 2-prizer Pokemon throughout the game, just whether to draw or maybe even just to put back into the deck later on. So Luxurious Cape helps out in certain situations, like in a Lost Box matchup, where now they're placing damage counters. If Sableye is placing damage counters on your Pokemon, it doesn't count for being knocked out, because in the text it does say it has to be knocked out by damage from a Pokemon, and that's an effect. So if your Pokemon are being damaged by, say, a Roaring Moon, that would definitely give them 2 prize cards. But their first attack, where they're just going to knock you out by the effect, that doesn't affect it. So they're going to have to waste so many resources to draw energies, to get their stadiums in play, remove their stadiums to even hit 250, and putting one of these on a Snorlax is going to bring it up to the 250 hit point mark. Now, being as there's a lot of decks that can also poison you, we know that the poison effect isn't going to affect Luxurious Cape either. So that's why I think Cape is definitely a 4 of, or maybe pulling it down and putting some of the Bravery Charms in here as well could be really good, but I'm going to stick with 4 for right now. So there you have it. There's the list and some explanations for certain cards. We're going to try this whole thing out on the PTCGL ladder and see how it fares up against a lot of the meta decks. Alright, so we're going to go first here and see who we're going to have to annoy, or what type of deck we're going to get to annoy here on the PTCG Live ladder. We've got a really good hand, but currently we just drew a mulligan, so that's totally fine. 2 Pokemon is good. Definitely don't want 1 Pokemon stranded, but no ball search just yet. We might have to use Peonia to see if we can get anything out of our prize cards here, at least the first 3 prize cards. Alright, we're getting to play up against the Goldengo EX, so that's good. Mimikyu is going to come in great here. And we'll just put the Luxurious Cape onto the Mimikyu and pass our turn. Now, chances are they're going to have a couple of Pokemon that are going to be supporting to help them draw cards or switch things. And Goldengo, being that it's an EX, is not going to get hit by this Mimikyu. So there's the Nest Ball. The Radiant Greninja, which is a bad play on their side, but I understand that they need to do this to be able to progress the board state here. They're going to draw that. But little do they know, if they go behind in prizes, then we'll be able to just take advantage of that. So there's their Earthen Vessel, just making sure that they're drawing energy cards to make Goldengo EX do massive amounts of damage, which is really just how you play the game here. There's Call for Family is going to be the attack that they're going to use here. They're going to draw 3 more cards. And there's the Artisan, which is great for us too. Artisan we can use to our advantage, put another Snorlax in play to inevitably lock up this Radiant Ninja, so that's going to be fine. There's the Call for Family. Totally fine. We could be annoying with the Crushing Hammer. We're just going to go here. First thing that we're going to do is use Artisan. Our Crushing Hammer hit. Perfect. Let's use Artisan first. Misfortune Sisters is going to be for late game, so let's go ahead. And we do have another Snorlax. We don't even care what's in the rest of the deck, because inevitably I just want to draw a Counter Catcher, because once they take out at least 1 Snorlax, then we will be just fine. And look at that, Boss's Orders and Counter Catcher and Crushing Hammer. The only thing better could be, getting our Rotom. So let's go in with Rotom so we can start drawing cards. And yes, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 prizes on the board, but we play 3 Penny to also get things off the board too, so that's really good. Alright, here we go. Earthen Vessel. Getting rid of a Ralt. That's something you don't see every day in a Goldengo, but I guess that could be a decent engine. Okay. Very cool. They're doing their thing. Goldengo EX, there it is. Not much going on here. Now I can Arven, and then Arven will get me 4 Sealstone. 4 Sealstone next turn will get me the Penny to take this off the board, and then we could just go from there. So there's Clara. Oh man, they're gonna be mad when I put Snorlax up next turn. There's the energy attachment for turn. Totally fine. Now just making sure this isn't Shred. It definitely is not Shred, so that's fine. There we go. One Snorlax in the bin. Activates our Counter Catcher. We are good to go. So we're going to play Counter Catcher here. Bring this thing right up. Can't do anything there. We're going to play Crushing Hammer. Get this energy off. They don't care about energy, but you know what? Might as well thin the deck, right? You know what? We could always Echoing Horn. Put this Pokemon back. We can Artisan for another Mimikyu. Just because. Then let's Arven. Go in. And we'll grab a Pal Pad. Just so we have it. And we'll grab a Forest Seal Stone. Slap the Forest Seal Stone on the Rotom. And then let's rip the instant charge and see what kind of cards we get. There's the Penny. We don't even need the Forest Seal Stone for it. We can keep this in hand if we ever need it. We could always continually use Pidgeot V. And this is just, I don't know, making them angry. There's a Switch card. Totally fine. And again, we're just going to take some things off the board. I'm going to start trying to mill them a little bit more. Because they're kind of a self-mill deck. They try to get rid of all of their cards. Obviously the coin bonus is something that you'll get to see them use quite a bit here in this game. There's the concealed cards, drawing more cards. Now we're down to 23. That's the magic number for me. That's my favorite number, 23. There we go, getting rid of the Iono. Totally fine for us too, that's good. There we go. Coin bonus, that's good. There we go, the Manaphy. Are they gonna put the Manaphy down? Seems like a misplay. But that's good for us. Now that we know Manaphy's in hand, we can always use Erika's Invitation. Alright, so I guess not, that's fine too. Alright, so we could try the Cyllene loop here with the Forest Seal Stone. That seems fine. Go. Now, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? So there's another cape. We're going to Crushing Hammer. There we go. Another heads. See you later. I will just Penny. We'll take this off the board here. Then I'm gonna go ahead and yeah, we're just gonna chill. Let's hit end turn. And as we watch our opponent struggle, we'll just keep doing what we do. We could always Pidgeot Forest Seal Stone. Now that we have Forest Seal Stone in the deck, they're not going to target anything down. Got Mimikyu here and here. So they're going to have to try to corkscrew punch. And at that point, we can always put down Pidgeot V and Forest Seal Stone and pick things up and try again based on what we're drawing. So we're not drawing too many cards. They've only got 18 cards left in deck. I'm not sure if they see it, but you know what? If we have to speed things up here, we will. That's what, you have so much control playing a deck like this. You know what's in your deck, you know your deck list, you know how your opponent's playing, some misplays that you can capitalize as a Snorlax player, right? You're seeing the misplays, you've got your loop ready to go. You're just gonna waste the clock here. So let's see what other type of things that we can do to them. Let's check out their hand. We got superior energy retrieval, so I guess that they can just keep drawing cards with Radiant Greninja. That's totally fine. And yeah, we're just gonna end turn. We're good to go here. Let's pass it back over to them. And just gonna Take a little sip. Chill out. Yep. This is super fun. Interesting gameplay, right? Super fun and interesting gameplay on the Pokemon trading card game. It definitely, well, we're still winning, right? There are so many cards. There's no way we're not winning. We have a way to put in at least, yeah, we have a way of putting in up to all 5 cards. So yeah, we could Team Yell cheer for 1, 2, 3, and then we can Pal Pad. So we have a way of putting 5 cards back in our deck. This Penny is fine, and let's just end the turn. Going back to them. So we're winning the clock race here too. If you could see right underneath me that they are on 19 minutes left in their clock, and we are on 21 minutes left in our clock, which means that we're playing much faster than our opponent. So there is not much that they could do here. They're just gonna do their thing and keep on trucking. I guess I could boss's orders if I wanted to use it, but I don't have to. So we're just gonna let them ride out the clock. Here we go. And there we go. There's the scoop. We've got the loop. There's nothing that they can do. We could have established a loop, but we're just winning. They did some wrong things. Technically, you're not supposed to assume. You're not supposed to assume that they're playing Charizard, but chances are when you got a Charizard coin, you're probably gonna play some Charizard. Right? That's really what I'm assuming is going to happen here, but we'll have to wait and see. We're jumping the gun. They've got the Charizard sleeves, so I suppose that they're playing Charizard, right? Alright, so our hand is not the greatest, but that start is something. They do have Escape Rope still in deck, so that is a thing that can happen here. We could just go for Nest Ball for a Seal Stone. Luxurious Cape is also really good in this matchup here. Sometimes Charizard plays a Jet Energy that we are pretty scared of. We could just go here, and we could go for another Cape, and then this is just gonna go here, and we'll get another Snorlax and put 2 Capes down. We're gonna wait to put our Stadium down, and we're gonna wait to draw more cards. Actually, you know what? Let's draw more cards. I feel like it's perfectly fine to go behind the prizes, especially since we have Arven in hand. We're not going to attach the 4 Seal Stone just yet because the matchup is still pretty shaky. But there we go. No, 2 Crushing Hammers, really good. Especially when they need 2 energies to attack and they don't accelerate more energies than they need most of the time because the deck's low on energy cards. It's usually about 8 energy cards in total, sometimes 9, magically 9 if you're playing the Jet Energy. And there we go. We're accelerating some energy. And is Charizard going to put 3 energy committed to the Radiant Charizard, or we're just going to wait it out? I mean, there's a right play and a wrong play, but we're going to see how our opponent is going to do it. There's the Iono, totally fine. We're good to go. We play 4 Arven in the deck. We've only used 1, so everything is looking up for us, and we get to draw extra cards, so that's good too. Hisuian Heavy Ball. We only have 4 prizes on our field. We can navigate that accordingly. There we go. We are going to give them another Snorlax. And they can hit into us. Totally fine. Now we could Erika's Invitation and roll the dice here. We could Arven and get a Switch Cart and 4 Seal Stone. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's even better. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go Counter Catcher, 4 Seal Stone. We're going to flip the 4 Seal Stone. And get Star Alchemy here. We're going to get the Mimikyu. Mimikyu's fine. We'll go ahead and put this here. And then Switch Cart into it. And go from there. Bingo. And let's draw some. Well, actually, let's look at our prizes first, because Hisuian Heavy Ball might not matter. Let's take the Snorlax. So we got Snorlax Heavy Ball, Cape, Cyllene, Erika's, Counter Catcher. There's lots of good stuff in here, so our Peonia might be really good in this matchup. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to instant charge, draw some more cards, and there we go. So we got the boss's orders and 3 Snorlax with 3 capes. There ain't no way. I'll let him draw a few more cards here, and then we can play Erika's Invitation. Maybe we can pull out a Manaphy late game, bring it right up into the active. So here's Arven. They played their 1 escape rope early on, and because of Cape, now, mind you, that yes, Bravery Charm would have worked in this situation. Not exactly sure why the 1. That's interesting. Because it's definitely 180. I'm not resistance to fire. There's no resistance to fire. Alright, let's see. There's a Charmeleon. Are they going to try to attack me with Charmeleon here? Is that the play? That seems like a lot of energy commitment. And there we go. Charizard not able to attack. They're just basically passing their turn. Feel pretty fine. I think what I'm going to do is just Penny this thing. And then next turn I'll try to Cyllene it back, just in case. Let's instant charge. Maybe we can draw into another one of our pennies. We didn't draw into another one of our pennies. Still totally fine. Now Crushing Hammer is going to put in some work, but not on the active Charizard, because we don't care about that just yet. We care about this thing here, because yeah, it's going to discard an energy card, but hitting 90 into our poor little Mimikyu is not what we want to happen. So also this thing having, you know, 5 energies with a Radiant Charizard, you don't want that to happen. That's never going to happen here with Crushing Hammer, for sure. Alright, there we go. Okay, let's see if we can Cyllene our way to victory. Just put that penny right back on top. Okay, we got the 1. Totally fine. Put penny back. Nice. And let's instant charge. Taking all of our stuff off of here. Now, what we do have to watch out for is there's usually 2 more Ionos in this deck. So they're going to try to deck us out, or put us in a position where we're going to deck out, because we're always going to draw 6 with Iono, right? And that's something you have to remember, is that you're always drawing 6 cards with Iono. So you don't care about things like Guardy, you don't care about getting Iono in Charizard, because you're just going to draw 6 cards. They're going to obviously try to take prizes, otherwise what are you doing? And then after that, you just get a nice 6 cards. Now, Guardy is a little bit trickier because they have a lot of different moving pieces, and once they're established, then you're good to go. So I think what I'm going to try to do here is just mill them out, because they're not taking any prize cards. So let's just start the mill a little bit more and go from there. So I think that we're doing just fine. Let's go Crushing Hammer, that way they just don't bop this thing. Yep, nice. And we'll get rid of this energy, and now we're making them mad. Let's instant charge 2 just to see more cards, just because. And there we go. Cool. Now, Crushing Hammers is another thing that we want to monitor here. So we only use 1 Crushing Hammer. It means that we've got 3 more in the deck. We saw that they weren't in the prize cards. This Charmeleon's it's gonna get angry. We can cross switchers up this thing. It It's never going to be able to retreat. Let's just do it. Put this thing up. Put this thing up. And let's go from here. Let's end our turn. We're not even going to draw anymore. Fine. Could have sisters. We use sisters, I guess. But we're starting to get close to the numbers. If we're looking at both decks, I think we're doing just fine. So let's see. Let's just try sisters again. Get rid of vacuum and candy. Seems like a good play. And let's end the turn. We've got a Cyllene and 2 sisters in the discard pile. We're gonna try to establish the loop and lock a little bit better with Team Yell Cheer and put all 3 of those back in. And then once we get our Pal Pad going, which we'll probably see in this next turn, we're gonna draw 6 cards off a 20 card deck. We'll probably get one of those back, and there you have it. Here's the Pal Pad that we see. Now let's check their discard pile because we can really take advantage of them after that. We're gonna go in. They have 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So they're gonna rare candy and then boss. Probably. Still don't know how they're getting that Radiant Charizard out of here unless they play a Penny. Now, if they play a Penny, it's kind of bad, I guess. And doesn't look like they are going to. So let's just get rid of some. Good. Arven. The Echoing Horn. They got Mew. Let's put Mew back in play. And let's play another Crushing Hammer, shall we? There we go. We'll take an energy off of the Charmeleon. Because we can, right? And I don't need to use the Pal Pad yet. So let's instant charge. And there we go. There's our Counter Catcher. Very cool. Very fun. Fun interactive gameplay. And there's another energy card. And there's the Penny that we assumed was going to happen. And it's totally fine if they knock out the Snorlax. That activates our Counter Catcher. So I think that we'll be okay. We'll be just fine. We can Arven. And we can even cross-switch her out, this poor little Mew. And go from there. There we go. This is fun. Oh, look at that. Would you look at that? Just look at it. We're going to bring the Mew up. We're going to put the Snorlax out. Totally fine. Let's just draw some more cards just because. There we go. There's more Crushing Hammer. That's what I wanted to see. Extra Crushing Hammer. This deck is so fun. It's literally so fun. It's just because there's so many fast meta decks out there, and you really just get them thinking. They have to think more than, okay, I'm just gonna Miraidon, or okay, I'm just gonna Chien-Pao, or okay, I'm just gonna, Mew VMAX. I'm just gonna Roaring Moon. That's how I'm gonna get them. That's the ticket. They have to think outside of the box with this list. All right, so here we go. Little did they know that we have a Penny, even if they're gonna hit into this stupid thing, this Rotom. Penny's gonna be fine. Yep, there you go. All right, here's your Charizard. Cool, sounds good. Defiant Band, which only activates if they're behind on prize cards. Still doing 180, totally fine. Let's go Penny, lift it up, take it out of here, and let's just put Mimikyu up in the active. Let's hit it with a Crushing Hammer. And there's another heads. Oh, I'm so sorry, but not really. We don't need to draw many more cards. Let's check their Iono count, and that's the game. That's pretty much it. That's how you win with Snorlax. So we learned here, if you want to have fun and you want to try something a little bit different, and maybe you lose some friends over it, you might want to play Snorlax Stall. We got to see all of the cool tools that Paradox Rift added, and the way that the meta is shaping up, it seems like it could really be a force to be reckoned with going into things like the Latin American International Championship or some of these upcoming regionals as well. So if you like this list or had fun with it, obviously you can copy and paste it into your PTCG Live from the description down below. Let us know down in the comments, or just let us know if Snorlax makes you angry. Either way, we'll comment back and let you know what video we might be making next too. If you can, make sure that you're hitting the like button, subscribing to the channel for more awesome competitive content like this, and share it with a friend. That's all from me for today on this video here. I'm PJ, signing off from the Shuffle Squad. We will catch you next time.
Hey trainers, tired of having too many cards lying around? I know that feeling, and I know what a hassle it is to try and sell those cards. But selling bulk is now easier than ever with TCG Bulk. Find tons of potential buyers in a single place. You just download the app, look for the best buyer near you, and carefully pack your bulk, ship it, and you get paid. It really is that simple. Turn the cards you don't want into the cards you absolutely need for your next deck. You made it to the end. Thank you so much for watching this entire video from the Shuffle Squad. Honestly, from the bottom of our hearts, we appreciate each and every person that supports our content, watches what we have going on every single day, every single week, even from time to time, and continuously allows us to have a forum to project our creative content towards the Pokemon TCG community. So if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and even leave a comment to help boost the YouTube algorithm. That being said, we'll catch you with our next video. Thanks again. Take it easy.